Good evening. I'm Steve from UCAN English Tutoring. I wish you all a very happy new year, and I hope this year brings success to all your goals, including the ones you have got for OET, IELTS, and PTE academic examinations. To help you guys out prepare well for your examination and pass your exams in your first attempt itself, I'm introducing two new membership programs in addition to the existing ones. There is a diamond membership program which is going to be charged only at about $79.99 per month, which is going to be approximately 4,200 to 4,500 Indian rupees, with which you will be able to access all the live session videos on my YouTube channel. I mean, you will be able to receive the step-by-step strategies, for reading, listening, writing, and speaking subtests of OET, IELTS, and PTE academic examinations with just $79.99. You should be able to smash your OET examination in your first attempt itself. The good thing about this membership program is that you can access all my sessions whenever and wherever you want. So you can watch those sessions, you can make notes as well, and then you should be able to pass your OET, IELTS, and PT academic examination in your first attempt itself. If you wish to get more benefits from me, you can also become a platinum member, which is going to be charged at $149.99 per month, which is going to be approximately 8,000 to 8,500 Indian rupees. This gives you access to all the live videos. Plus, I'm going to provide you the assessment of 3 speaking and 3 writing mock tests as well. When you become a diamond or a platinum member, you will be able to see all the videos that are going to be recorded in my classroom so that you can get the maximum benefits out of these things. Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Steve from UCAN English Tutoring. In this video, I'm going to assess one of the letter written by a student on the real OET examination case notes, which was held on the 12th of June 2021. Firstly, I would like to show you the case notes, and then I will assess her letter and provide the word-by-word feedback along with the feedback against each criteria, and finally the overall score for this letter. Okay, let's go through this. So they will give you 5 minutes for your reading and then 40 minutes for writing the letter. Read the case notes and complete the writing task which follows. Assume that today's date is 12 June 2021. You are a registered nurse working in the emergency department of St. Patrick's Hospital, 390 Victoria Street, Braehead, Darlinghurst, UK. And these are the case notes. Let's go from there. Name Mrs. Sylvia Rule, date of birth 06 June 1952, that is 69 years old. Address Wellcare Nursing Home 42 Darlinghurst, UK. Next of kin 2 daughters and 3 sons live near. Social history: occasionally smokes and drinks. Mother 90-year-old and father 99-year, stays in a nursing home. 10 arch breathing difficulty, fever, fatigue. Management: treated with antibiotics and discharged after 1 week. Medical history: hypertension, dementia, diabetes. 16 April 2021, high temperature, high blood pressure, breathlessness, chest infection, possibly pneumonia. Management: treated with oxygen and antibiotics. 10 June 2021, presenting problems, brought by ambulance. Wheezing, shortness of breath, crackles audible. Fever 38.9 degrees Celsius. Cough, fatigue, possibly pneumonia. Investigations: X-ray, blood screening, complete blood, CT scan. Diagnosis: bacterial chest infections, possibly exacerbation of previous illness, pneumonia ruled out. Management: oxygen through face mask, given injection amoxicillin 500 gram into 3 per day. Patient become reluctant and become aggressive, shouting and restless for the ward admission, diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Discussed with the family and advised instant discharge. 12 June 2021, this is the latest visit. fit for discharge, fever in range of 37.4 degrees Celsius, wheezing and SOB reduced, tab amoxicillin 500 gram into 3 per day to continue for 1 week. Nurse to monitor fever, SOB, fatigue, check medication. Plan, transfer to nursing home. Writing task, using the information given in the case notes, write a letter of information to Miss Dobson requesting care and monitoring of Mrs. Sylvia. Address the letter to Miss Julia Dobson, head nurse at Wellcare Nursing Home, 42 Darlinghurst, UK. In your answer, explain the relevant notes into complete sentences. Do not use note form, use letter form. The body of the letter should be approximately 180 to 200 words. Now, let's start the assessment of this letter first. That's the first page. All right. She has written down the addressee's contact details here without any mistakes. I'm very happy with that. You have done a good job. All right. And then you have written on the date of the letter, which is also equally good. And then dear Miss Dobson. So you have written on the prefix of the recipient, and then you have spelled the name of the recipient correctly. I'm very happy with that. Let's go through the next one. So you have written on the reference details, that is Mrs. Sylvia Rule, aged 69. That's great. I'm happy with that. Mrs. Sylvia Rule, who is recovering from pneumonia, requires ongoing care and monitoring from your service. She is being discharged today. One thing I would like to tell you is that it is not pneumonia. Pneumonia has been ruled out, and she has been suffering from bacterial chest infection only. As a result, you shouldn't mention this one over there. So one of the problems with this is that you have mentioned pneumonia, which needs to be ruled out. It is not pneumonia, but it is due to bacterial chest infection. All right, because they have initially suspected, but after the diagnosis, they were able to find out that it was not due to pneumonia, but due to bacterial chest infection. So it's not recovering from pneumonia. So please be mindful about this. Requires ongoing care and monitoring from your service. Your service is okay, but it is more appropriate to use your facility. All right. Should be your facility. Okay, let's go to the next one. As you are aware, Mrs. Rule was represented to the hospital. You don't need to use represented, or do you want to use represented? If it is represented, okay, instead of represented, you should say re and then hyphen and then presented, or presented again. You can also use presented again. Okay, that is much better. All right, to the hospital on 10 June 2021 with the suggestive symptoms of pneumonia. Subsequently, she underwent various investigations. That's good. I'm happy with that, such as X-ray, complete blood test, as well as computer tomography, and her condition was diagnosed. Okay, that's fine. But her condition was diagnosed with what? With the bacterial chest infection. It was not pneumonia. All right, she was provided with the supplementary. Okay, the spelling is incorrect. So this one is incorrect. So you have mentioned supplementary. It's not supplementary, but supplementary. Okay, let me write it down. This is what you have written on, but that's wrong. You should write down like this, supplementary. This is correct. Okay, it should be supplementary. Let's continue now. Supplementary, what is that? Oxygen, that's okay. And commenced on, and commenced on. You should say and was commenced on. It's not uncommenced on, because when you write down a verb here, this is the second part of the sentence. So you can just use only the subject of the sentence. So which means she commenced on, and that's not good. So it should be she was commenced on and commenced. That's what you have written down. That's wrong. You should say and was commenced on. All right, that is more appropriate. Let's continue now. And was commenced on intravenous amoxicillin. That is okay, 500 mg thrice daily. Perfect. During hospitalization, That's fine. Mrs. Rule was noted with the symptoms similar to Alzheimer's disease. That's correct. Such as aggressive. It's not aggressive. Okay, it's not aggressive. Okay, it should be aggressiveness. All right, or aggression. So instead of writing down aggressive, you should say aggression, or you can use aggressiveness. Both of them are appropriate. Remember that you are writing down the symptoms here, which means the symptoms must include the nouns only. You should not write down anything apart from nouns. Okay, so shouting, that is fine. And restless, it's not restless, restlessness, it must be restlessness. Okay, so you should write down, instead of restless, you should write down restlessness. Okay, because these things are the adjectives and we don't need adjective because we are writing down symptoms. Symptoms means they need to be in the noun form only. All right, I hope you understand. For ward admission, her condition was discussed with the family and advised instant discharge. Okay, who advised the instant discharge? Whenever you write down a one full sentence, for example, this one, her condition was discussed with the family and advised for discharge or advised instant discharge, you should mention to whom you advised, okay, or who advised it. So you could use like this, instead of saying and advised instant discharge, you can say an instant discharge was advised. That's a great way of using the passive voice form. Okay, so instead of writing down and advised instant discharge, you can use and immediate discharge was advised, was recommended, was advised. Okay, you can use those kinds of phrases. Remember that we should not use the same phrase again and again. So you can use some synonyms as well. I can sense that you have been using a lot of keywords from the case notes as you see that. That's it. You haven't been using many synonyms, which is not good. It's really important that we use at least 50 to 60% of the words in the synonyms form in order to get good score under vocabulary. All right, let's continue. Currently, her health status has improved. However, she needs observation. Okay, remember that OET writing is 100% formal, which means you need to use more and more formal phrases. So when you say, however, she needs, that doesn't look good. You can use she requires. Okay, requires is more formal than needs. I hope you understand what I mean. Let's continue now. Okay, it would be appreciated if you could arrange a nurse to observe Mrs. Rule for fever, breathlessness. So you need to write down the letters clearly. So this one isn't really good. And fatigue. Kindly advise the nurse to check her. Okay, let's continue. To check her medications and to continue tab amoxicillin 500 grams thrice daily for 1 week. Okay, let's say one recommendation I have got for you is to expand this word. So you have used a tab and then amoxicillin, isn't it? So instead of that, I would strongly recommend you to use amoxicillin first, and then you write down tablet, please. Amoxicillin tablet. We have to always expand the abbreviations because OET letters are always 100% formal. So there shouldn't be any compromise in regards to this. See, I have recommended so many students to use more and more formal words, and they were able to surpass their required scores. Even recently, one of my students achieved 370 from his previous score of 250 only. Okay, so please understand that these small things can make a huge difference to your score. All right, let's continue now. And the other thing is, look at this one for 1 week. So 1 and week are very close to each other. I mean, there is no gap between 1 week, and that's not good. It's better to use, the word form. You can write ONE rather than 1. Okay. All right, let's continue. Should you have any queries, please do not hesitate to contact me. Let's say there are a couple of mistakes here. One is you haven't written down any comma after this. All right, that's one issue. Okay, you should use queries, comma. The better way of presenting this information is to use questions, because questions is more formal rather than queries. I hope you understand this. And then the other issue is do not. This has been written down as one word, but in reality, it has got two words. I mean, you need to give a space between do and then not, but you haven't given, unfortunately, in your letter. So that's another issue. Okay. So you need to be mindful about all these things. All right. And then you have written on yours sincerely. That's fine. Comma. That's good. Registered nurse, emergency department, St. Patrick's Hospital, 390 Victoria Briarhead. Well, you don't need to write down the full, address of the hospital where you're working in. Okay. So please do not write the full address of the sender's organization. That's not needed. Okay. In the signature section. So when you sign off, you don't need to use these things. Okay, you don't need to write them down. All right, let's go to the assessment now. First thing is that grammar needs to be improved a lot. Unfortunately, you have committed a lot of grammatical mistakes, particularly use of, let's go through this. So you didn't use the verbs and nouns appropriately. So I'm not quite happy with that. That's one of the issues. So use of nouns, verbs, and there is one where you haven't committed okay, punctuation error as well. Yes, okay, good. All right. Yeah, use of nouns and verbs primarily is not good. Okay, so use of nouns and verbs is an area of improvement. Okay. Spelling could have been much better because you have committed a couple of spelling mistakes. Look at this one, do not, and then supplementary. So they are the issues. Okay. And then the next one is connectivity. Connectivity is all right. It's not that bad. You were able to use all the connecting phrases very well. Vocabulary could have been much better by using more synonyms and polite words. Please use formal words rather than the informal words. All right, that is one issue. You need to ensure that you give good spacing. Okay, so layout and presentation features are not that good. You need to work out on this area as well. Use of a range of sentence structures is not up to the mark. It could have been improved a bit. Okay, it could have been improved a bit. What else? Okay, let's say overall task fulfillment is okay. Not that bad. I'm happy with that. You have to expand all the abbreviations, please. Remember that expanding the abbreviations is going to give an opportunity to make your letter more formal. So that's really important. That comes under one of the assessment parameters. Punctuation marks need to be used appropriately as well. That's another issue. So use of punctuations could have been a bit better. All right, and what else? So punctuations. Okay, let's go through this. Case notes were incorrectly interpreted. That's another problem. Case notes were incorrectly interpreted. So instead of pneumonia, you have used, instead of pneumonia, you should have used bacterial infection. Okay, that's the main issue with this patient. Okay. All right, let's go through this. So you have changed the form of the words as well, and that's not good. What else? I hope everything else should be all right. Let me have a look at the case notes quickly to see if you have included all the relevant case notes or not. I hope you haven't included any. Okay, one second. Okay, that's all right. Let's go back. Yeah, she's living in this one only. So we have to pick up only, we have to start writing down. She's took a high temperature, that's all right. 20 June, presenting symptoms brought. So from 10th of June, and then what's the next one? Diagnosis bacterial infection, that's all right. 12th of June, yeah, that's okay. So you should start writing from the 10th of June. The reason is that the previous ones were already resolved, and then she has been sent out from the hospital to the nursing home. So the recipient should have all the details, regarding her visits on the 10th of March, as well as the 16th of April. So only from 10th of June, we have to include the details. This is possibly pneumonia. So on the 10th of June, they suspected that the patient might have been suffering from pneumonia, but that hasn't been the case, because when they go through this test, they were able to find out that it isn't pneumonia. It is going to be bacterial chest infection. Okay, so if you have written down the introduction paragraph using pneumonia, what you should have mentioned is, you could have mentioned that she has been demonstrating the suggestive symptoms of pneumonia. That could have been fine. And then once you start writing down the diagnosis paragraph, you can say that pneumonia has been ruled out, and bacterial infection was the major cause of this issue. Okay, all right, you got to use anyway the formal words. All right. Yes, okay, you have included these case notes. I'm happy with that. That's really good. And try to use the information properly. Instead of using discussed, you can use discussion. You can change the words from verb to noun, noun to verb, verb to adverb, adverb to adjective, and so on, in order to showcase that you have good control on the use of vocabulary. That should have been much better, but you haven't done that. But apart from that, I hope everything else is all good, because you have included all the relevant case notes. I'm happy with that, so that's fine. So you have included all the relevant case notes, which is good enough, but you have interpreted the case notes incorrectly. So all relevant case notes are included except the real cause of patient's admission. Okay, because the patient has been admitted due to the bacterial chest infections, which has been caused by the existing illness held by the patient. All right. Okay. Let me go through the expected score now for this role play call. Sorry, for this letter. Okay. Let's say, see, you haven't included one relevant case note, and you have mispresented one relevant case note as well. And then the spelling isn't really good. Connectivity is okay, but grammar isn't really good. Punctuations could have been a bit better as well. So when I look at the severity of these mistakes, I believe that it's not gonna get you perhaps 300. I won't think that this can get you 300. I'm pretty confident that this one will not be able to get you 300. I would be very happy to give you somewhere close to 270. I think that's going to be the score you may be able to expect for this letter. You need to understand all these things, that you have to include only the relevant case notes. You shouldn't mispresent the information, and you should ensure that all the assessment criteria, as I have been explained in this video, need to be addressed as well. I hope you find this video helpful.